them come. This is their fate.
Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. It has been, I don't even know, I think it's like 130 episodes now, man. We've been in this thing for a very long time, starting it off with the Square Enix fanboys. That's the first episode till now. That's a lot of episodes, but we still here, we still kicking, we still putting out content, and we still got topics to discuss. So we're going to get into it, but before we do, as always, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going, what games you've been playing, and what you've been up to. Whatever you want to share, man. It's an open space. Talk to the people.
Yeah, I guess it sounds like a therapy space, but
yeah, man, it's right there. It's all there, man. It ain't nothing but a few of them out there. They don't know. They don't need. They can. You can be yourself here.
Power to the people.
As far as games, I haven't been playing too much new. Still got my free to play gotcha games, and I'm putting time in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, playing a lot of Zenless Zone Zero. It's still fun. The combat is like I mentioned before. I wish there was a little bit more to the game, but once you get like a good roster of characters, it doesn't feel as repetitive just because they're all different. Otherwise, I've been I guess how to explain it. So at work, I do play test some games, and I've been playing a lot of trash. So that's disappointing, but
yeah,
I'm hoping get past those and get to some fun stuff. Yeah, that's a lot to say for now.
Gotcha.
As far as video game and just like media in general, I've been trying to catch up on. So I never watched Deadpool 2. So me and my wife watched that the other day. It was okay. Like a lot of fun ideas. I think Deadpool comedy is either hit or miss, which is fine. It's not really like highbrow media, but you know, it was fun at least. And we're gonna try to catch Deadpool at some point. I don't know if we'll be able to go together this weekend or if I'm gonna end up going by myself. But I think at least Deadpool, since his comedy is like a 50-50 for me, having Wolverine around should help it land more because he can be like the more grounded individual in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, not playing too much. Just new job. Oh, I got family. My mom came to visit Japan. She's been with us for the last few days. I got to meet her little granddaughter and hang out with us.
Nice.
So that's mostly what we've been doing. It's super hot in Japan right now, always. But this week it's been like 35 degrees Celsius, which is like 96, 97 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Plus being super humid. So I know it's hot everywhere, but that humidity is like the extra notch to crank it up.
Yeah. So it ain't no real outside activities going on, huh?
Oh, no, definitely not. We'll go out for a little bit, maybe an hour or two at a time, but then come back home. Just because a lot of people have been having heat strokes, and you never know what'll happen. Yeah, we already don't drink enough water as is, so gotta take it slow.
Take it easy.
Out your vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, everybody good, healthy. Glad to have family around, and
okay, that's good. That's good. What about you, Jalen? What you been up to?
just working out and hooping, playing a game a little bit. On the side of traveling.
The side of traveling. Come on the side. Like 2 scoops of travel. 2 scoops. Okay, gotcha.
More like a dash. No, just fine. But no, that I had just came back from North Carolina. I had to went to a wedding. Not this weekend, but next weekend I'll probably go to Tennessee for like a family reunion. So let's say just a little bit of traveling and stuff like that.
Moving and shaking, putting some use to that Steam Deck, or not really?
Yeah, you know I had that mother in North Carolina.
You know I had it on me. Okay.
I packed that thing too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so some of that, I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent with TikTok. So I was gonna try to put out like another video. I had another one I could put out too, but I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So just doing that. Little TikTok.
Little TikTok. You put a little TikTok work in.
Yeah, we trying to be on a little the talk with the clock app.
It's all about consistency, man.
That's what it is for real.
Give them something to watch. They got to keep scrolling on your page. That's how they get everybody else engaged. So consistency. Consistency
is key. So
yeah.
Game wise, I ain't really been playing anything. I feel like I was kind of busy this week, and I ain't really played the game much or whatever. So I've been playing Kingdom Hearts on my Steam Deck, but I mean that's old news. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was playing this game. I was just looking like, man, I don't feel like playing this mug, bro. I just want to fight the bosses. And I was just like, they should just do a remaster of this game because when I go back and play it, I start analyzing a little bit more and more critically each time I play it. So, instead of giving the game the grace since it's been a 2006 game, I think.
Yeah, so, it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm like, man, y'all keep giving us this mug, bro, and I wasn't finna get it, but I bought it. And it was cool, but you know what I'm saying? When you get to I think the Disney things I don't really be caring about in the game, so it'd be a little bit of a drag in that regard.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I've been playing a lot more Diablo. Almost got my second character to 100. I'm at like 89. I just been playing Diablo, bro. I ain't been really doing nothing else. I wanted to switch to Baldur's Gate, so I think I might end up still buying it because that's what I was going to either do. I was going to get Ghost, or I was going to get Baldur's Gate on my PC so I can play it on my Legion. Because I'm not going to get to it on my Xbox. It's just not going to happen. So I was going to do that, but then I just started playing Diablo again. So I'm just playing Diablo at this point until it gets super boring for me. I'm gonna keep doing that. We did get some time in to play Concord, me and Jalen, for a little bit over the weekend to kind of get some matches in and kind of get some footage recorded. But outside of that, man, I've just been playing Diablo. It's been taking over my life a little bit, on my spare time at least, anyway. But outside of that, I think I want to try to get into something. I still don't feel like being in the mood to get characters and all that stuff, so I don't even know if Baldur's Gate can be the game that's gonna be for me. I might just end up start playing PvP and Destiny again, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just need something to weed me off of Diablo because I've just been playing that a lot. So, but yeah, that's all. I ain't been doing nothing else. Work still work. Kids still kids. Wife still the wife. Yeah, ain't nothing changed over there. Groceries more expensive. Everything, the little funds you thought you had that must be gone. He was like, "No, what happened?" And I just bought groceries, so everything getting more expensive. And it is what it is. But we gonna keep rocking. We gonna keep going. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. And let's keep it short and sweet on the intro so we can get right into some of these topics, though. So, as I mentioned, me and Jalen were able to get to Concord over the weekend a little bit and kind of do a little bit more of a deeper dive into some of the mechanics and thoughts around why the game may not be appealing to most and some of the key things that we felt or pulled out of it that was like, this is a bad sign. This is a reason why And I just kick it off a little bit. One of the reasons, and I just say one, and was that when we were playing it, it felt as if we were trying to find something fun when we just weren't having fun, because it didn't feel like it was this magical click of the gameplay being solid to match the mechanics around it. It just felt like, yeah, gameplay is solid, but what else? And it just didn't feel like there was a what else there. Like, I know Helldivers have his certain thing, its loop. It just didn't feel like we were introduced to Concord's loop. We just got their gameplay, which could be fine for a long period of time, but what I was searching for, I didn't find. It felt a little bit lifeless when I ended my sessions. I was just like, yeah, that was pointless. It didn't really matter. The jobs I was doing or finishing, the points I was getting, nothing felt inclusive to one another or felt as if it was connected. It just felt like everyone was doing a bunch of different things, and a lot of people weren't actually engaging with the mechanics they built. So that's my one thing. It felt a little lifeless as I played it, and it felt like it wasn't really engaging me in the way that I thought I would be engaged in that type of cool world that they built. I'm going to shoot it over to Jalen and see what one thing that you kind of had that kind of stuck out to you as you were playing it.
Yeah, thanks for passing me to assist Deontay. No, just one. Nah, man, yeah, with that game, just echoing what Deontay said, I mean, it did feel a little lifeless. I mean, I'm trying to speak real lightly on these things because I didn't play. I probably played for maybe like an hour or two. I didn't read all the tutorial stuff. I thought they had. I don't even think they had a tutorial mode. I don't know. I had tried to go to it, but I guess it was just kind of like you just read stuff about the training. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. But I guess I was trying to figure out what's the main point, the gimmick of this game. I mean, if it's just a team-based shooter or a hero shooter or whatever, that's fine. Seemed like the characters have like some sort of like personality and different things like that, but it didn't feel like it was a true purpose of playing a game. Granted, it's just a beta. I mean, all the I don't know if they're gonna do loot boxes or whatever they're gonna do. Like
no battle passes, none of that. They said no battle passes. They said the game is the game outside of like updates and seasonal updates, but you don't have a battle pass. You don't have any of that monetization stuff. So there has been statements made about that, at least to clarify around that.
Okay. I mean, I guess that could be a good thing depending on, how they want to spin it.
Yeah.
It just don't. I just didn't have like a strong reason to like play the game. Even like Destiny, I'll just use that for an example. The gunplay is good. The strength you feel when you use your super, like the aesthetics of different things. It flows and it looks nice. I feel like it was some sort of things that looked similar to Destiny.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave like reuse asset type of thing, which is okay when it's done correctly, right? But when the other parts of the game isn't fleshed out, you just start kind of wondering about, where their mind was at when it was making it. Like the characters don't got no supers. I can't really find much identity besides like the weapons and like the character itself, but it doesn't feel like it's a lot of it just don't feel like it's a lot of depth to the game, honestly. I know they tried to use like a crew system or whatever, but I mean, I don't know what that really does in the grand scheme of things. And I mean, it's still, the bulk of the game, you just feel like you're just shooting people and just like playing objectives in the game and stuff like that. But it ain't, Call of Duty a little bit more interesting because at least you're working towards something like a kill streak or something. But
or
this
unlocking
just kind of felt real bare
attachments to kind of continue to get better at some. It just felt like there's some difference there in regards to having a variant that does it. The variant system kind of aligned to me with Multiversus perk system. Like it's not necessary. It doesn't matter. But the core gameplay of Multiversus, at least they got that down packed, and the speed of how quickly you get into matches, they got down packed. So it doesn't feel like less than, or like it's just fun to play and get off. Versus Concord, you have to kind of think about your approach. At least they want you to think about it, but it does feel convoluted in a way that they built their systems around this convoluted thing, or the gameplay around it, but it didn't Like nobody wants to engage with it. So then it's just left with the bare bones of what the game is gameplay wise. So, but continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you. Point.
Yeah, no, you're good. I mean, but I mean that's pretty much like the gist of how I felt. It felt like it was empty. It felt like it needs something that I need to work towards in the game, something that's gonna evolve the game. Because I feel like what I'm getting is what I get, and only thing that's gonna change the dynamic of the game is like the skins and stuff that I might be able to put on my character. But I mean, I never was a huge fan of skins or aesthetics and stuff like that. So that's not gonna really sell me for, like, especially if they want $40 for the game. I mean, I think the game, on the positive side, the gameplay, like the shooting and stuff feels nice. I think it's maybe a little bit too much aim assist.
Absolutely.
Or the way the bullets trace and stuff like that. Because I didn't shot a dude and started running around a corner and they just died. And that's not lag. Like I knew I was missing a dude and he still died. I don't know what happened a couple of times. But the gameplay, the guns feel nice. I expect none less with that. The maps and things, I seen some maps that captured that Destiny feel. Not saying Destiny is a pinnacle in what we trying to feel. It just feel like it's a map that's immersive. You can feel submerged within a map. You can tell a lot of
that's what I'm
quality.
Looking for.
Yeah,
that Destiny clone. That's what I'm looking for. But go ahead.
I mean, yeah. So I don't know about I'm looking for that specifically, but it would be nice to have something similar to Destiny because Destiny did feel immersive. If like the universe was big, so but I mean that's pretty much like the biggest things I would say about the game. So
yeah, and to its credit, you can't really build a Destiny type like attachment level without some type of repetitive gameplay, and maybe they just weren't interested in doing that type of story or that type of moments within their game, which is understandable. But you have to understand that where you're going to be landing when people initially boot up your game. Like, what is it that's going to get them excited to come back? It can't be you thought that everybody's going to love all your characters. It can't be that when you're forcing everybody to play with different characters and create a crew, and that's going to be the fun part about it. And it can't be so lackadaisical on the level of progress that you get from leveling up that character. Like, there has to be something there. And I think lack of systems, lack of attachments, lack of weapon variety, in a real good way, and being a set hero shooter, it's going to fall into that bleeding edge category. Either you're going to love it or you're going to just not care about it. And that's unfortunate because both of these companies put a lot of time into their systems and how they work, but hero shooters live and die on that. And I know for a fact there's just too many out there right now. It's way too many. It's an overpopulated genre of the gaming community, and they're going to fall victim to people not giving it a chance to be better. Because if you're not coming out swinging on the top of the at the top of the key or top of the, it's like you're not going to make it up in the second. It's really going to be where, unfortunately, your first impression is your only impression because you're not going to get a second impression. I think that is what's going to fall to them, and I think that's going to be something they have to deal with going forward. It could become free to play in a variety of different ways, like through PlayStation Plus at some point, like they did with that, what's it called? All Stars? I forget what it's called. It was like Car All Stars or whatever they tried to come out with from PlayStation before. Another one of those bad games that had some momentum, but when it finally came out, it was terrible. So I just know that it might fall into that, and I think the budget on this was way too high. So it could impact the bottom line of Sony in a bad way. So what I want to happen for this game, and let's talk future aspects for it, I still want it to find success in some way. I don't know what that looks like for them, but I do want them to find success. I don't think I'm interested in playing it further, but I could see myself revisiting if they were to try something different. And I'm talking different as in provide some more variety to how you engage the characters, what type of modes you can play, minimizing the amount of different types of heroes in a certain mode or something like that. Maybe providing a more streamlined approach to their systems that could be more engaging to just only focus in on the gameplay versus focusing in on all your systems, how all the heroes work together, and simplifying. I know that Overwatch has tried to do that over time. There's never a good way to let a tank and a attacker go head to head. It just doesn't make sense. But they can do some things to kind of get creative around that. So my success for them is to be more creative in their approaches and to be more simplistic and really put the focus and lens back on what is fun versus what is what has long legs, I suppose. Maybe that's what the problem was. Is they were thinking way too much about how do we keep people engaged and want to come back, and less about, is this even fun to play? So that's what I think happened in regards to Concord. Any other thoughts or any other things that we missed that we didn't talk about in regards to Concord that you or Josh want to add?
No, I've seen people talking about the game and a lot of articles about it, and I definitely feel like this is a game that the budget was too high, and I don't think that the developers necessarily did a bad job. It's just the budget for this project was too high. They needed something that either, how to put it, since it's a multiplayer game, it needs a some sort of hook for the players, like something that's either new or unique or something. And like usually people would describe that as like, what's your elevator pitch or one sentence elevator pitch? How can you describe it to somebody? Well, this is a hero shooter in a sci-fi universe and blah blah blah. And when you do that elevator pitch, it doesn't have anything very strong or
Right.
unique about it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but usually games, they lead with something like, we have a 3v3 game mode, or we have a unique type of capture the flag or extraction shooter or something, so that the gameplay is what's first. But for this Concord, I was looking at the playlist and was like, I don't know which one. First of all, I don't know which playlist is the main playlist. Is it the elimination one? Is it the team deathmatch? And two, what's unique about these modes really, other than y'all kind of got unique names for all the items and objectives?
Yeah, they only got one currently unavailable. The other one was Team Deathmatch. The other one was Control. And then it was Team Deathmatch with no response. And it was like, play for all your marble. I'm like, how is that? That's not engaging or varied. So, but yeah, continue.
No, yeah, and I think was my biggest issue with the gameplay, because it's fun, but they don't have anything that I feel like they're confident in pushing. Like, this is why we made this game. Like, if you go to Overwatch, I think Overwatch had a couple modes when it came out, but like, it was the like point capture and moving the point. Those were the two modes that came out in the beta. It was like, this is what we spent all of our time on. This is what we've been testing. This is what we want y'all to play. And if I go to Rainbow Six, we played the beta for Rainbow Six, same thing. We only been play tested one mode, like elimination. That's what we want y'all to play. So these multiplayer games need to have that one thing that can show, like, this is why we made this. We are the best at this one mode. And if you like it, you're going to love this game. And I don't think this game has even come close to doing that, because they're not even sure what they want people to play. Kind of, we want you to play our game, but we don't know how to market or to show you our idea in depth.
I think that their tactics are flawed a little bit.
So even going free to play, I see that as an issue in the future. Is like, okay, Concord is free to play now. what are you going to market to get people to come join it now that it's free to play? Like, come play our team deathmatch. Like, nobody cares about that. Elimination is cool, but elimination is more for people who are already into the game. Like, nobody just wants to play a elimination game as their first introduction to the game. So yeah, it's an uphill battle. I feel like the game looks and feels very good, and so it kind of sucks that it's in this place where it doesn't have identity. I wish that they could have, they could have did the same game, but like much cheaper, like indie game level budget. Looks like a like a not Astro World per se, but something real cheap and quick to make, so we can show that this game is fun. And then if you want to come out later with your second game, now we're building a full Destiny level, blah blah blah. That would be great. But I don't know why they approved this budget for so high. Like, it looks more expensive than X Defiant, but I feel like X Defiant has this loop and people are gonna play it.
Yep. So, and like I said, it's unfortunate for the developers. I feel like they do put a lot of passion into their character design, animations, and stylistic portions of the game, but there is nothing here that will tell me that they were or understood their mission or vision at the start of the inception. I feel like they just kind of they said, build us a hero shooter. You guys did the best job building this hero shooter. We're going to give you that money now. But they never thought, well, why do people want to play this one over anything else? And I think that was a key point of what they need to do. And I think this card system is what they tried to make beautiful or magical, but it does not resonate and it does not help, because all it does is tell you that you have to continuously depend on other people to switch out their character, and or have these variants on the field or whatever. And it just doesn't, I don't know, it's just not a approach to game style or function that I would think anyone with the same mind would take. It's just too much going on. But yeah, I think you kind of made the point very clear that highly over budgeted for what we are getting as the X factor. So, all right. Well, that's pretty much all we have on that topic. Let's move on to the next. So, Multiversus got some updates. One of the bigger ones is obviously it's now season 2. And we getting Samurai Jack and Beetlejuice. Samurai Jack dropped today. I did have enough coins or glimium, whatever they want to call it, to purchase the battle pass outright. But I did buy the battle pass before, when I bought it during the beta. So it's nice to know that if you do complete the battle pass, you can just keep buying it over and over. That's a value add that some companies are trying to take away. So yeah, I did play a little bit with Samurai Jack. In my opinion, he does have some pretty killer moves. I think he really has a really cool down. Basically a meteor smash. I really like his side B, and he does have a lot of quick movements. People are already complaining about him having disjointed hitboxes, like Finn. And they're also complaining that he's too weak. So it's all people on both sides of the fence kind of explaining why they feel like that he's too weak or too good. For me, I just feel like that game, Multiversus, is not to be taken too seriously, but I do enjoy it quite a bit. So I do want to make sure I'm just keeping up on new news, new characters. Can't wait till they add the kid next door, or some of the Ed and Eddie if they decide to. Whoever they decide, I think I'm going to come back and check it out every time. So I am happy with the state of Multiversus today. And I know that you guys probably didn't have a chance to play with Samurai or anything like that. But what are your thoughts on the state of Multiversus as of today? Like, good or bad? Any thoughts or anything to add to Multiversus as of now?
I'm surprised they still got them servers online.
You saying that game cooked, Josh? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I got negative interest in Multiversus. I think it's doing okay. I don't know, what the player count is or whatever, but they're still doing updates, and it doesn't feel like it like completely fell off like it did like the first time it launched. But yeah, man, I don't know. Once I played what was actually there and it had all those issues, I had no interest in playing right now. Like maybe it does get better over time. But yeah, maybe it's a character I'm waiting on. I wait to see somebody that I really like and jump back in. But for now, it's just play with Wonder Woman and uh, let those hitboxes do their thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What about y'all? Y'all been playing it pretty regularly, I think, when y'all have time. Do you feel like you playing it because you don't have a Smash game to play, or you playing it because they put something together that you enjoy?
I'll let Jalen go.
I just play it. I mean, I feel like this is a common thing. I'm probably beating on a dead horse at this point, but I mean, I just play the game to play with my friends and stuff like that. So that game ain't really, I mean, I ain't gonna say it's the funnest game and stuff like that. And they get a little annoying too, but they put you in matches at breakneck speeds. Easy get in, it's free to play, so it ain't no purchase threshold or nothing like that. And then, I mean, they got Smash aspects to it because you can be spike words in that mug, straight memes. But yeah, so I mean, that's the biggest thing. So the price standpoint with it being free, and then it's similar to Smash. And then the last thing is they put you in matches like real quick. So I feel like I can get a lot of bang for my buck when I'm playing that game or for my time, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's definitely hit a few key marks for me in regards to being able to play it anywhere via PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. However, I kind of want to engage with Multiversus. I have a plethora of ways to do so. It's all across platform. It's all across play, making it simple and simplistic for everyone to be able to enjoy it. And the value of just being able to know that there is a actual roadmap for everything. There is enough content in regards to single player stuff that keep people engaged. And if you want to chase challenges and things like that, they have things for that too. If you want to just play on your own time or alone. But the key, I guess, focus of the game for me is playing with others, and I wouldn't probably play it alone, not that often, unless I was like literally going after a character or something like that. So again, there is aspects to it that needs to be addressed, specifically hitboxes and other things like that. But for what you're getting, I guess I don't want to keep saying it because it's free. I won't play everything that's free. I would say that they are the more polished free game I've played, to a level of not content of Fortnite, but just that it's simplistic. Get on. You're not going to have a technical issue constantly that's popping up that's going to stop you or hinder you from just having a good time and getting off. So that is the level of style or game that I'm looking for when I see these free to plays versus, Apex heavy cheaters, really bad connections sometimes, and just being able to be pinging or like rubber banding. And then there's just this like heavy sense of hard monetization with little to no value to the core mechanics of the game. So that is punishing. I'm not saying that Apex Legends doesn't do a lot of good things right, but I'm saying that there is a level of quality that I feel like sometimes is missed on Apex, that maybe just the format of it, because it's just the way that it is now. versus Multiversus is very simple, easy to understand. We have an objective, a team objective that we both can either calibrate or change depending on the opponent, and it doesn't feel like it's going to take forever to do so because we just got killed and now we got to wait 15 minutes for another engagement because we playing a big battle royale. Just like constant engaging gameplay, which is useful and unique in a space where we're constantly getting bigger and bigger games or more convoluted systems. So simplicity wins for me on this one. Not saying that it's the greatest game I ever played, but it's the most simple and easy to get into for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a platform, it removes all the barriers of entry, which is important for free-to-play games because they're competing with each other. And really, the only way to judge free-to-play games is one, on their quality, and two, I guess, like you said, the barrier of entry. And so to have good high quality and low barrier entry is seem to be working for Multiversus.
I wouldn't say it's working, but it's definitely having me engaged. Like, I wouldn't say everybody loves it. You don't love it. That's two. That's only 2 out of 3 people already. So it's like it's not that I would say.
Well,
it's more of a.
I'm also, I guess, not looking for a fighting game because if I have a fighting game that I want to I'm sit down this afternoon and put time in it, I just play Street Fighter. Where Multiversus, it's not difficult, but that's still the type of game where I have to think about the competitiveness of it. So it's less of a sit down and relax game for me and more sit down and think game for me. Yeah. So, and I'm not personally looking for that right now either.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, no, that makes sense. Well, yeah, there is an audience out there, I think, that are going to continue to enjoy what they have to bring. Kind of similar to the boom that they got with Xbox getting this Nickelodeon Raw 2 into Game Pass or whatever, and they had a pretty big spike and increase in gamers. Simply because it's the barrier entry is removed and the polish of the game itself is still good. I said that when I first bought it earlier this year, or I don't know if it was earlier this year or last year, but those types of things tell me that there is people out there that are interested in these types of games. It's just bringing value to where they are, and what does that value look like? I think that value proposition for Multiversus is simplicity and iconic characters. As long as they keep doing that, I think it's going to be a quick and easy rotation of people coming in and out that they'll never lose, which is going to help them stay available for time to come anyway, because they have the catalog of people, because WB owns it, so they don't have to go license nothing. They don't have to do the whole Naruto Fortnite deal and make enough money. They don't have to monetize crazy because it's just not needed. So they want to make more money, but there is a solid package here that I can see how they would be able to benefit from with crossovers, movies coming out, drop a new character. Easy. And that is another way to get them engaged on Multiversus, which is why I can keep it downloaded probably for the next 3 years and not have a problem, more than likely. So that's why I play it. That's why I like it. And I think their model, their systems, and their gameplay are pretty good. So, but okay. Anything on Multiversus, Samurai Jack, Jalen? We own that thing. You getting on there? I don't know if you got 950 Galemium to buy that, because that's when he come with the battle pass. But
yeah, I have to say, I ain't bought nothing in that game, but I don't know if I earned enough for the premium. That's the premium currency, right?
Yeah, it's the premium currency.
Yeah, gotta see.
Alrighty. Anything else before we move on? All right, I'm rubbing my hands like that. I'm getting my merman hands ready because I'm dealing with some heavy FOMO for this next topic. So the next topic is the Rog Ally X. If you haven't heard about it, it's the new handheld on the block. And as you know, we got to collect them all over here. So when it dropped, I knew that it was going to have a decent amount of battery life. I knew that, but they weren't really giving solid numbers. But then people started talking about it. People started getting out in the wild. More videos dropped, more coverage, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to find out that the Rog Ally X has a significant increase in battery life due to them doing some trickery, whatever they did, to get Windows itself to run at a lower TDP. And I was listening to the Fox talk about it. I don't know how they did that, but it was essentially a way for them to not have the system, the OS, be so heavy and so power hungry. And I don't even know how. I don't know how that happens, because there is what you can do and what you cannot do when it comes to the operating system. But a lot of the things that I was seeing optimization wise to gaming wise, I'm talking you're getting not double the battery life, but triple the battery life at some points. And it feels good to be able to see that happen on a Windows handheld. So my big takeaway from all of this is that there has to be some Windows optimization coming down the pipe. There has to be some beneficial changes coming down that's going to help the OS itself run at lower TDPs effectively and not suck up so much battery in the background. So again, I'm talking about just sitting idle on a Windows. You're getting 7 hours, 8 hours. And trust me, if I do that with my Legion Go, I'm not getting nowhere close. I am getting, and I'm talking low TDPs. I'm talking about on power saving mode. I'm still barely hitting 4. So I know that that's a significant increase. And that's just running the Windows OS, not doing nothing. Just, even if you're just streaming to your PC, to that handheld device, that gives you much more time than you would normally, like going from 3 hours to 4 hours to 7 to 8. Come on now, dog. That's why I just was like, I could see myself upgrading simply for the battery life and the optimization that Asus has done with their Armory crate, with the system, and all of their drivers and things like that. So I just feel like that is the beneficial part, not the hardware itself, but the optimization of Windows. So I want that to come to the other devices. I don't know if it will. I think Asus has been leading the way when it comes to optimizing and updating their systems. But that's only one facet of it. It actually does still perform very well. It does have a VRR refresh rate screen, which allows for the tearing and being able to have fluctuating FPS and still have a smooth experience. It is pretty powerful. That's the key to it. So I'm really digging the coverage. I'm really digging this device, but I don't want to buy another device because I already got 2, and I really don't see the point of buying that one when I can stream games to get more powerful hardware, and I can, because simply it'll be buying it for battery life and the potential of more optimization from Asus versus actually needing it and having a big performance increase. Like my Legion Go is pretty on par with what the Ally can do right now. So I don't know. Been contemplating it, been sitting on it, been thinking about it, but I don't know. What is the value of a better battery? I don't think it's $800 worth. That's for sure. But then again, y'all buy iPhones every year. I don't know. Not y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the people out there that's listening. iPhones, they tell you y'all battery bad, and then y'all go buy another iPhone, and then literally it does nothing extra. So I don't know. Maybe you see me with it. Maybe you won't. Who knows what the future holds? Who knows what the future holds? That only time can tell. it's in Jesus' hands at this point. But yeah, check out the coverage of it. Some of the other key highlights that I really liked about it is the kind of the more, I guess it's more refined buttons, the bigger buttons, the D-pad being better. I do miss having a single unit. I really do like Lenovo's little pull apart and everything function. It does feel a little less steady, but at the same time, it does feel like it's twofold. I like it because I can break it apart and just use it as a regular controller and plug it into this little accessory I bought, and now it feels like a full-fledged controller. And I could just have the tablet or the screen floating on the kickstand. I really love the kickstand on Lenovo, but Asus itself just having better optimization, having a Thunderbolt for GPUs and being able to run external GPUs on that thing now. Two USB-C ports. Two USB-C ports. It's just all of it's meshing well. I think that they did a really good refresh. I am looking forward to seeing what Steam does next and what Legion does next. But if I'm a betting man, I think Asus is going to continue to partner more closely with Windows. I just feel it because that's the only one that Xbox and Phil Spencer be talking about most of the time. It's not a everybody's included. I feel like they were really championing that Rogue Ally for some reason. So I don't know, just seemed a little odd, but yeah, I liked it. I think it's cool. Have y'all seen any coverage on it?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. It seems like it, like you said, it's a combination of lower power draw in Windows itself, plus like a 30% bigger battery.
Yeah.
So that is a big performance difference. So those games that you only get an hour battery, now you can get 2 hours. Or that 3-hour game turns 6-hour game. So
yeah,
that on its own is really cool. I personally, I didn't like the feel of the last Ally.
Yep.
But like you said, with the different buttons and stuff, I might like it more. But yeah, $800 is way too expensive for what I want to spend on that power level.
Yep.
I'll be okay to spend a little bit more if I'm getting a more compact device, but something that's large and like you said, 6 hours is great, but it's also getting to that point where I don't necessarily need 6 hours.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting down playing a game that long in one place, I'm probably got an internet connection, so I could stream it as well. So, yeah, it just depends. I think it's worth it, but it's gonna vary depending on your personal situation. Like if you don't have something to stream, and this is your main like handheld PC device or your main PC device, it might be perfect for that type of person.
Yeah.
If you're willing to spend a little bit more money, so you can have access to it. But yeah, personally, I'm gonna wait a little bit for the next Steam device. But also on the Windows side, it is cool to see that they are having like really significant breakthroughs with power to performance. Because for a while, it just seemed like you just gotta wait for a new chipset or stuff like that. But now they're getting into the OS and their own like BIOS configurations and really pushing the envelope. So I think that's cool to see. I wonder if Asus is gonna have like the plug on that, or is you gonna see that to like other devices as well? But we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's all the coverage I had on the Rogue Ally. I did want to sing its praises. Obviously, we ain't letting them off the hook for all the stupid customer service stuff they do. But again, if I see that device is great and I see that they actually put some time into it and made it functionally better than before, I'm going to praise it just like I did the Steam Deck OLED. So I see you, Asus. I am going to continue to watch you in the future. I feel like this is a really big significant change and a leap in the right direction when it comes to hardware on the Windows front for handheld gaming. So, still, I'm keeping my eye on you, and I might just pop up with one next week. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's move on to our next topic, though. So, Respawn. We was talking about good stuff and good people and good free games, but now we gotta talk about Respawn. One of my favorite developers turned to crap, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, due to simply monetization. I really feel like they have still been hitting on all cylinders when it comes to what type of game they want to make and what type of characters they want to put in it. I just don't think they've been exceedingly my expectations on what I want. Like, I'm never going to be satisfied until I can run on walls and play Titanfall again. So I don't really think that they are catering that to me anymore. It's more so to the people that still are interested in large battle royale games. And I think they have been, and I can't front, they have been doing that. They have been providing new characters and new functions and new things within the game to make people happy. It's just been so far in between that of you're comparing it to Fortnite, you're comparing their systems, you're comparing their monetization practices, and it all accumulates to that you guys are just greedier and you're not doing the work. So when it comes to Apex Legends, it's going to keep falling into a space of heavy negativity, of heavy scrutiny, because they don't listen to the community and they don't do the work. When I say do the work, I mean actually put the time in to not only fix server issues, but to fix cheater issues, to fix monetization problems when the community brings it up, to stop repurposing and rebranding things purchased before as reskins. Like, do the work. I don't see how Fortnite can continue to make a skins and skins and skins, purchase people and purchase licensing for type of rights, and just keep doing this. And no one has probably ever complained about, oh, this skin look just like this other skin. And if they have, I don't hear about it as much as I hear about it from Apex, because it's just that much of a bubbling topic that they continue to charge us more. Obviously, it's not me anymore. I stopped playing a year ago. But to the point where people have become so frustrated with your game that they're going online and just downvoting the crap out of you, that they're literally going under everybody's videos and comment sections and saying this game is crap. Your content creators that is dedicated to this game are quitting. How do you not turn the ship around before this happens? How much money do you feel like how much do you have to lose before you actually begin to care? So that is where we are with Respawn and EA.
Just real quick. So people been complaining about the stuff I've been complaining about. Wait, the covered skins.
Yeah. They always been complaining about that, but it's been heavily more obvious and blatant how they would do an event and then they would give away an old, like, one of those level 100 reactive skins. Like, remember how we used to have every battle pass had a reactive skin? You get to level 100, you get that reactive skin for a weapon. Anyways, those skins are making their way back into the game, but they're just being different colors. But they're doing it as the event, unlockable when you buy everything. So instead of you getting like a mythic skin that has some changes, or instead of you getting an heirloom, or you get a reactive skin that you probably have already in different color. So it's laziness at the top of it all. And to us, or to the community, which to me too, obviously, I'm still a part of the community. I still check it out. I just don't play the game no more. There is a blatant level of disrespect in regards to the people's time, money, and effort. So it keeps coming back up, keeps happening. Most recent, the straw that broke the camel's back was the monetization battle pass changes that they were trying to get across. They were trying to charge for 2 battle passes within the year or within the season, which again, it's not even a year. I think the season lasts for 90 days. So you get 2 battle passes within the season, but you can't use your coins to buy them anymore. You got to use real money. So it's always going to have money, new money being invested in the game versus old money that you can earn. This is something that they tried to cop out and say, well, we're giving you more rewards. You're getting more stuff. You're going to love it. Versus the fact that we all know that all this stuff is reused. All this stuff is pretty much useless and it's not worthy of the price tag that they're charging. So it was a big, heavy campaign to just downvote the crap out of this game on Steam. I think it's sitting right now at just overwhelmingly negative right now. And this has been for quite a bit, like the last 2 weeks. But yeah, they finally decided to listen, and they didn't listen, but they decided to pull back on that. They're going to go back to the old battle pass, or at least they're going to. I don't even know if they're going to not do the splits. I think they're just going to allow you now to buy it with your currency that you make in game, which I don't know how beneficial that truly is versus that whole split them up. And I have to do a little bit more research on that, but from what I could read, they were still going ahead with their changes to how the battle pass is split, but they weren't going to now take away your ability to buy the battle pass with Apex coins. To be honest, I don't think it's enough. This literally this new event that just came out is 22 skins with one mode, and it's team deathmatch with instead of 6 people on both teams, it's 12 people on both teams, and it's called Big Team Deathmatch. I just feel like they're lazy, man. I really do. I do. They made something unique, special, and powerful, and then they just said, "I'm gonna ride it out, G. I'm not gonna make no big changes. We're not gonna really shake it up. We're not going to do anything special. I think we should ride this out." And to their credit, after I look back from Apex's season 1 to 20, I do see the change. I'm not saying I don't. But they had to understand that the level of quality that they're competing against, it's just not. You're just not even in the ballpark right now. You're not even in range of what and how Fortnite has decided to shape their world. And I understand it's not fair, but you're the only one. You're the only other one. What else is there? It's really Apex and it's Fortnite. So I really feel like EA should put those dollars to the side, or at least put money back into the game to make sure that people are enjoying it as they play it. And I just think that it hasn't happened. The game gets sweatier because of lack of people, and they're trying to make you buy more stuff because there's a lack of people. So there is a spiraling event happening here. How do we get more money? Well, we charge the people that's still here more money. But how do we get more people? Well, who cares? We just gotta get more money, and that's the problem. I don't think they realize that it's a very nasty cycle to the point where you're going to diminish your player base so much that regardless of how much you ever charge an individual or player, there's not enough people there to sustain your business. So I think that there truly has to be a new lens looked at it from a value perspective of why would anybody want to play our game, and why do people want to attach to all of these skins? What's the purpose of this? Why does it make sense for them, and why do they do it? But I think that there's so much of it's working, let's keep going, let's keep winning, let's keep getting this money, and let's not look at the continuous damage that we're just overlooking. You know how long it took them to kind of bring over cross save and the ability to do that, and even when it happened, it still didn't motivate me enough to play that game. It's just telling that the constant unfortunate setup and procedures that they are going through, the things that they have to do, the things that they are making time for, isn't the right things. So I think there
You don't
is.
think? Oh my bad. I was gonna ask you a real quick question. You don't think it's like, I don't agree with this, or I don't think it's a wise thing, but you don't think they kind of just get in a like wits end with it, and eventually just gonna abort the game because maybe it costs too much or whatever they're doing for the game. It's just not sustainable no more, or, you know.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how much it costs. I would have to look at their books to see what EA is kind of currently making on Apex. But they don't really break that. I probably have to go look at their financials to probably see if they do even a breakout of what Apex makes for them and their return on it. Because that tells you everything that you need to know about a company's wings. If they feel like they're not making enough money and they're not returning on their investment, all they're going to do is continuously try to make that up in some way. And I think that the way they tried to make it up in some way is to charge their players more. And you can always tell when a game is on a decline because they try to make drastic changes in order for them to continue to stay afloat. I think right now Helldivers 2 could care less because they had a upfront fee that you had to pay to get into their game, and their player count can dwindle to as much as they want, really, because yeah, they're going to have big updates coming out real soon, but they don't need you to stay on and play. Their servers aren't going to pay for themselves, and they already got your money, so it's not like they need you to continue to play. Because their servers are so massive and the amount of people that are playing their game as Apex Legends and it's free to entry, they have to find a way to get the paying customers to pay more because now there is a lack of new individuals coming into the game, but there is still a large demand for the amount of stuff that costs to keep the game up and running, to continue to maintain the game, to maintenance the game, and what does that look like on their books? That's what I need to know. And I don't know that because I don't know if they actually break it down, but like I said, I could do some research to try to figure that out. But all this tells me is these are telltale signs of a business going downhill, or a part of the business going downhill. And I think Apex Legends is probably in a state where it's barely breaking even, or it's barely making a little bit of profit. I know people are always throwing out big numbers and where they were and how many players are around the world registered, but they're not really telling you how many active players are still registered, how many people are actually buying their battle passes yearly in a sustainable fashion. That's why people stopped to. I'm pretty sure Overwatch did the same thing when they had to make the decision to tear down the league because it wasn't making enough money. Nobody was buying and playing their game that much to the point where it wasn't sustainable for them to kind of have a league.
Yeah, and with a lot of these games, it don't make sense to, like, in order for free to play games to continue to like grow, you have to continue to invest in them.
Yeah.
And you know that investment might not show any return financially for a while. But if the game is already not hitting all the numbers that they wanted to, then they're definitely not going to reinvest into it. They're going to take that money, put it to different projects or whatever else. So I feel like that's been the case for Apex for a long time. It's been making a lot of money, like and successful, but EA is not willing to invest a whole lot of money into it, and that's part of the reason why that cross save took what,
Forever.
3 years
Yeah.
to even come out.
Yeah.
And yeah, Overwatch is in the same situation where they got to keep cutting features every couple months just because they're not getting the investment that they need to grow the game. So they just got to maintain it and keep people interested in spending money.
Yeah, because at some point they're going to try to either get the next iteration going, or they're going to try to make a bigger update that will help them continue to make money. And it's a tough cycle. I'm not saying that the down cycle for a game isn't tough. I'm saying that what I'm seeing from them tells me that EA is either done with it or Respawn is done with it. And I don't know which one. I would have to think EA, that is kind of done with this world and this game, and right now they're in a function of continue to bring in the revenue, but we're probably going to lower our investment in you as a game entirely for the time period over the next, year and a half, 4 years or whatever, however long they decided that investment isn't worthy to kind of keep reinvesting in, because it is a money pit. So it really just depends. I really have to look at their books to kind of get a better understanding of what it is. But from my knowledge and what I'm seeing, it ain't good for sure.
Yeah, well, they need to stop playing and just put the robots in the dang game, and people will come back. But
yeah,
they're playing hooky, so
no, for sure. That's what they doing, man. It's kind of a weird situation to be in. And understand those partner companies and having boards and doing all that stuff. You having to have hold people responsible for the things that they're doing, and then the lack of, or Respawn had all their budget for Jedi Survivor, and now Apex is taking a hit for it because it's a partner. You don't know how this stuff works. All I know is they're probably allocated a budget. They probably had to utilize that budget, and then they didn't reinvest in that company due to the fact that they were down. So it could be a cause and effect of just that. They had a big shot at a game and it didn't go well because simply didn't work out. The mechanics of it were broken and it didn't run well. So a lot of bad press around it came into be, where it was a very cheap game. But again, I think EA as a company knows how to go through those down cycles, and they should be able to still fund them as that what happens.
No, I know what happened to them.
What?
They had too many me's running around, man. Refused to put a penny in that game, but play it for hours on it. Like, man, y'all still not getting nothing out of me, man. But thanks for the game, though. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all good. But yeah, it could be a multitude of things. I just know that for me, I'm really sad about it, because like I said, I love Respawn. I think that they're one of my favorite developers, and I've seen them transition from shooters to single player very successfully, in a lot of ways, at least critically acclaimed. But for them to kind of have to be going through this and seeing the outpour of hate, and I understand it. I understand the hate and why it's there. I just really wish that they would get a handle on it in some form or fashion to start to provide a better experience. Take those dusty arena servers down. Nobody play that. Just focus on your game. Take that dusty ranked away. Oh, go ahead.
I know it's not financially viable because these games make so much money, but I feel like the reason these multiplayer games have such lulls so often is because they stick around too long. Whereas, like, back in the day with like Bungie or even Call of Duty, people favorite Call of Duty, they only played it for a year, 2 years max, and then these games they were around 6, 7, 8 years, and maybe there should be a pivot at some point where it's like, okay, it's been 3, 4 years, we're gonna move to Apex 2. We're gonna keep some stuff moving forward, but we're also gonna just branch out completely different, and it's not gonna be the same. I think would have people more excited regularly, where they see the game changing. But I know that probably doesn't make sense to like an EA. Like, why will we split our player base like that when people are spending money right now? But I feel like with multiplayer games, at least, I feel like they become stagnant and stuck in the same pattern of, we gotta sell skins and not put out any new content. So I'd rather them just make a new game every 3 years instead of keeping Apex going for 12.
Yeah, it is definitely it's an interesting. It's just very interesting how they do it, and
it's like,
yeah,
how many Bungie put out like 6 Halo games in 10 years?
Yeah.
Versus,
now it's a different
Destiny
era.
2 was a surprise, but like, two Destiny games in 10 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a different era. The game cycle to kind of complete a game and finish it up is longer, but for sure I would think um utilizing the funds from the game previously. But I think there is so much benefit now in continuously developing for a in place game than it used to be to break it all down and start over because of the cost up front, versus the longevity period of it, that you can continue to get people to interested in buying this game with the assets already built out. You already put in that investment cost, but now it's just small reinvestments to kind of get DLC sold, to get new seasons sold.
What about
So
the Call of Duty model then? Because they've connected all the Call of Duty games, and they still can reuse some stuff, reuse the same platform, probably the same servers and stuff like that. But it's a new quote unquote game every year or two. Whereas Apex, you know,
I don't think they
maybe
have
they could have had a version of Apex for 2 years that was just wall running, and then the next year was like, okay, we're not doing wall running this year. We're going to a different version of Apex, but your skins, your gun skins move forward, um, like Call of Duty does.
I think Call of Duty had the capital at the beginning of that to do that type of setup because they kept getting buy-in of $60 per game sold for a very long
Mm-hmm.
time. And then when their model became sort of free, technically that wasn't impacting their traditional sales significantly. Now it could be a different picture now simply due to the Game Pass being in the loop, being that Warzone is now a little bit more popular, and it has the continuation aspect to it. But at the same time, they break down Warzone to build it back up. There could possibly be another Warzone breakdown soon and build it back up. And maybe your skins doesn't actually, move over. I don't know how they want to do their monetization, but at least what I can tell you from the get go, capital, to how much money they had available for them to be able to make that model work is significantly more than what a startup would ever have. After that first year, that model, they potentially could have tried that, but the startup cost, the investment cost to kind of be able to start to say, hey, we're going to charge you this amount for a new iteration every year. I think that's just a difference in how we want to connect with the player base, because they're gonna be like, huh, why would we want to pay for this? And you started off free. They had to have that upfront capital, and that's just a significant amount of money that Call of Duty had. Maybe they could have came together with EA's budget and did something like that, or with not EA's budget, but DICE budget for Battlefield and did something like that. But you don't, it's just hard, I guess, more so if you don't have the investment up front to kind of create a model like Call of Duty's. And they would never get that with a startup. So I would never see them being able to do that with a startup. But man, a Battlefield, maybe. But I think that they
Battlefield is still full price, and they don't even have a campaign. So that should be the route they go.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that going back to the model of Titanfall, Titanfall 2, Titanfall 3, and having the ability to continue to make iterations of something could have been the beneficial point to continue on with, and kind of having we'll be in Titanfall 8 or something right now. But it just depends on what they truly value, and I think they valued a Fortnite clone way more than they felt that they valued a new Titanfall. So maybe that has shifted now, and I'm hoping so, because huge Titanfall fan here, and I really would rather play that over Apex any day, simply due to the openness of Apex and the lack of heavy engagements on a constant basis. Arenas is trying to do something like that, but I just feel like Arenas is tiring and not really that engaging to me, versus some true valuable moment-to-moment action that I'm looking for in Titanfall. So we'll see. Anything to add to that before we move on?
Give me the robots. That's it.
Bro, what robots are you talking about?
The Titans.
The Titans.
You talking about from Titanfall? I got you.
Yeah. He was like, bro, what are you talking about? The Autobots unite?
Like I want to corner somebody, blow up their Titan, they eject, and then I eject, and then grapple hook them in the air and kill them.
Yep.
Like that's the
Want to chase
whole
him
that
down.
Apex is missing.
Yeah, I want to chase him down, bro.
And even just the wall running, like the robots themselves are fun. Like shooting somebody with your chest laser.
Do you know how insane you gotta be to kind of create all of that type of chaos and still fundamentally have a sound game? Like they were making some crazy stuff, and I can't believe they just abandoned it. That pisses me off to this day. Like, bro, whatever. But it just felt like they had a solid, very unique system of really fun foot combat and Titan combat, and they had it synchronized to a point where it just felt good, and just be like, screw it, we're going to Apex and never touch it again. It's crazy to me, but whatever. Hopefully it make a comeback soon, and hopefully Respawn is dwindling its Apex funds because they're building something different. But let's move on to our next topic. Star Wars Outlaws new footage. Did you get a chance to check out Star Wars 10 minutes gameplay, Josh or Jalen, on IGN?
Yeah, I did. I didn't watch the whole thing. You can explain it. It's just I don't know why IGN makes games look boring. Maybe the game is boring, but I've noticed that every single IGN whatever video series this is boring. Like they did it with Sonic, it looked boring. They're doing it with Star Wars. And I don't want to watch IGN videos like that anymore. It just sucks the fun out of the game. Maybe the game is terrible and there's nothing they can do to sell it, but nothing that IGN is doing is making the game look fun. And I kind of feel like it's like they want to do an editorial, neutral, like here's the game, here's what step by step what you do in the game, and then that's it. Whereas a lot of other previews are kind of like, well, this is what I liked about the game. I'm not just showing you the game as is from minute go. I'm showing you what I like about the game, and this is why you should be interested into it. And so I don't know why IGN does this, but it always looks terrible. But yeah, you can talk about the actual game itself.
Yeah. So the game itself, when I first started, I mean, honestly, I am a little bit more positive because I know how I'm gonna play it, and I'm only paying $15, and I'm not gonna buy this game outright. So I kind of come at it from a low entry standpoint of what can they offer me, and I'm thinking of it from, well, they do give me a cheaper entry, so I now have to make the full-fledged investment. So when I say that, I want to kind of emphasize that a lot of people's concerns with this game is that they did the Watchdog effect, where they showed it off looking pretty, and then you finally get the good gameplay, the actual gameplay, and it looks like dookie water. So that is what people are really up in arms about. That they're saying that it was downgraded again, and it looks like crap. A lot of cutting of animations, a lot of clipping, a lot of fringe, a lot of lack of ray tracing. So a lot of the textures and everything looks floaty. And honestly, I see it all. Yeah, I saw it all. I was laughing at it. I thought it was funny. But I still think it's going to have a solid base. And the only reason I'd say that is because it's Star Wars. And two, Ubisoft can and has at some points made interesting open worlds. So to me, I feel like they can still do that with a Star Wars element that will make me engaged and have fun in it. But a lot of the complaints were textures being bad, a lot of the world just not looking up to snuff of a Star Wars game that is superior. So to me, I feel like Ubisoft is going to Ubisoft all over anything they do. But for the type of game that I'm looking for, espionage, missions, I'm not too strong in the world. I got my pistol, I got my gadgets, I got my quirky characters. I'm going out into a fantastical world that can be very dynamic. I think that's enough. I don't really need it to look the prettiest. But again, I played Star Wars Jedi Survivor when it was barely able to hit 60 on my 7900 XTX, and I played it through because of the world and the story. So I don't know. I guess I'm gauging this game on, or I am calibrating my critiques on this game due to lower entry of price and availability of that lower entry of price, and the fact that it's Star Wars. And I think I'm a little biased when it comes to Star Wars games. So I don't know. But to me, it wasn't that it looked boring. I don't think IGN does a great job, as you're right. They don't do a great job of that. But it probably isn't fun to watch, but it's probably still going to be enjoyable to play and experience. And that's what I'm still banking on. And I'm not really losing that much on my investment of $15 if I don't like it, because I could just not play it anymore like I did Avatar. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you are engaging it, whether or not you feel like it's up to snuff, and then there's a lot of the Star Wars bias for me. So I can't take it away and can't say that I don't love the Star Wars world. I can't say that people that usually have this IP do significant or decent things with it. So it hasn't been a bad Star Wars game in a while to me. Battlefront 2 was still good after finishing up with all the crap they had to go through, but it still was a decent game, and it looked amazing. And then, you had Jedi, Survivor, and Fallen Order, really great games. Then you had the Lego Star Wars, and it was still a good game. I didn't finish it, but I still liked it. So I'm still heavy invested in Star Wars gaming, and I think that giving Ubisoft a shot to present it in a different way and tell a different story, more like Andor, I'm still invested. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on bad graphics? Go ahead. Sorry.
So graphically, those issues don't bother me that much, especially in open world games, because that's kind of what you get in an open world game. It's not, I mean, unless you're Horizon and everything could be spick and span, because you gotta, Sony funding it.
Yeah.
That's normal. As long as the game is fun, I don't mind that type of stuff. But yeah, some of the animations and transitions are a little bit janky and stuff like that. But as far as like selling you on the aspect of this is an open world Star Wars game and you can ride around on your speeder, there's quests that happen and the quests take you between different environments, you got car chases, it feels like it's really selling me on that that idea, and I like it. The gameplay itself though, yeah, it's just like, yeah, straight up raw footage. We just gonna sneak around and assassinate people, ride our bike and pick up a quest and ride to a cave and pick up an item. So the gameplay is just very boring, and I don't think it works in its favor. And I don't know what the purpose of giving IGN these type of gameplay reveals, because it doesn't help the game in any way. Just,
Right.
I mean, truthfully, a lot of games are just boring to watch. But it might be still very fun to play. So I'd rather Ubisoft stop doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to just, I know the game comes out soon, so it's probably too late for this, but like Starfield, I feel like did a decent job where it's like, we're gonna make our own trailer, we're gonna sit down with you, we're gonna show you the game, show you what's fun about it, and then that's it. Just putting out the raw footage is useful. People want to see it, no reason to hide it, but do a better job of marketing it, I'd say.
No, I can't believe they didn't. If I was a developer making a big AAA game, I would have been stealing that developer direct approach from every time, or like the Cyberpunk approach, or the essentially every approach that had to sit down and talk through their game. Like those approaches always benefit the customer because it just tells me more about what the game will have to offer versus having to guess at it or wait from not the horse's mouth, but another person that has had their experience. And then that experience becomes the totality of your game versus providing that upfront, providing that in a way that tells you can shape your own opinion, and on top of that, getting additional resources. So I just feel like anybody making a great big AAA game should always budget in for a developer direct to be able to showcase their game and position yourself. Because you're a showman. You're a showman at the end of the day. Like, I don't care what you do. You could be in tech all you want. You have to sell something in order for you to be able to continue. Like, your functions and your jobs all have to sell something. It all boils down to that.
And you can't tell me you ain't got a marketing budget for a Star Wars game.
Yeah, you have to learn to sell. And in Ubisoft, I don't know. Like I said, they do stuff like bring out Just Dance, like somebody's watching, like anybody ever tuning in for those shows are watching for Just Dance. Like nobody's ever looking for that. Nobody checking for it. Anybody that's ever going to buy it is going to go to the store and they're going to find it because they actually are interested in that game. No, you're not getting any new customers by presenting it. So my thought is simply, these people have a lack of understanding of what true salespeople do, what a salesman is, what a salesperson can bring to the offer to the table. Marketing, I think that is so automated and so lifeless at this point that nobody really understands or gets that there's still a human connectivity there that needs to happen for you to sell and be successful in sales. So I don't know what the heck is going on over there, but I feel like the technical aspect of this game isn't being delivered upon. The whole conversations, think pieces, even the conversations I'm reading about, having that information be shown from the developer directly versus getting it word piece here from a piece journal. I understand everybody needs to have their piece of the pie, and if you want to have large coverage, yes, stick with Game Informer. But if you want to have meaningful coverage that actually makes a difference on this very video-esque world, I think you need to start to understand what the power of a developer direct can do for you. And I don't think they know it yet. But yeah, it was cool to read about how the transitions was super important to y'all, how making it where, how it was a big, technical task for them to be able to have it go seamless into the out to space, and like the combat in space. I'm loving a lot of things about it, right? But I'm getting it from here and here and here versus truly having a one place to point somebody to. Go check out this developer rec. You might actually like this game. I think that's what helped Starfield, because at first, it's very much so a bad situation. Somebody over there at Microsoft got the right idea to say, hey, let's put this game on showfront, and let's stop getting our information pieced out by different people to kind of make up what they think it is, versus let's tell the people correctly. So if I was in any headboard or any boardroom that was making these decisions about marketing and everything, I would make that a mandate for any AAA game that hits a certain threshold. They have to have a developer direct, and they have to present their game in the fashion of a salesman for someone that is going to look to buy. That's it. But I don't know. That's just me. I think that they would have benefited from that. I think that this is just a very bad IGN position to be put in. Very downvoted video now, and there's literally no context behind it but the first a minute and a half of the guy talking about what he's positioning you for. But that's not very helpful, and it doesn't explain the interconnectivity, what type of things is happening, what you can do and explore on the world. Like, there's some transitional cool stuff that needs to happen to help build the world as you play. And if you can't do that and you're just going from point A to B and showing a slice of it, really doesn't help. That is my thought. I'll pass it back to the esteemed panel. Anything further on Star Wars Outlaws? Any last points before we move on?
No, really. Yeah, I'm wait to actual, I guess, detailed reviews and coverage comes out, because it's still interesting. Mm-hmm. I think the Ubisoft formula might work in this sense because it does have a little bit more variety. we got the space combat and you can go to different environments. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm still cautious, but yeah, the marketing of the game has been disappointing. But it's not necessarily mean it's terrible yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about that hide the fluff like y'all normally do and to pretend like it's a good game. I'm talking about truly, and I think that's why they're scared of doing developer directs. So maybe their games are crap and they don't want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on to the EVO announcements. This is a pretty big one. And then we're gonna finish it up here. But some pretty big announcements came out over EVO. I know Samurai Jack was showing off for Multiversus. There was a big moment for Tekken where they had a Nike collaboration. They got phone pauses in Tekken now, Jalen. And then they had like Terry coming into Street Fighter 6. They teased him. He's pretty buff, but he looks good. He doesn't look terrible. Obviously they still had to create him in that Street Fighter-esque. So he's got heavy top, skinny bottom, and that's normally how he's built anyway in King of Fighters, but it's just a little exaggerated a little bit more. But overall, they captured his essence, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing his move set as we move forward on there. But there was a few other things as well. Did you guys catch any of the footage or the coverage of the EVO events?
I saw some stuff. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was like a whole weekend of like events. But yeah, Tekken returning character, Heihachi, and I guess I don't know if it's update or expansion to the story mode. So if you like Tekken story mode, you'll get more of that. And I guess with Heihachi coming, it's sort of continuing the story.
Okay.
Where they kind of set up like the new characters, Reina, in the story mode, and then Heihachi's coming back, and then he's gonna cause some trouble, whatever. Mortal Kombat had a couple character trailers for Takeda. He looks cool. I like Takeda in Mortal Kombat 10. I don't know if I haven't even played Mortal Kombat 1, but he looks cool, and if I ever went back, I would want to try his play style. I saw a lot of coverage for what's that game? 2XKO. It has a weird name. That's the Riot Games League of Legends fighting game. They renamed it 2XKO. It's a 2v2 tag game, but it can be played with 2 players on both teams, so 2-on-2. Or you can just have 2 characters on your own. It looks very, very good, very well polished. Obviously comes from Riot Games, and a lot of people got to play it live at the event. I saw RDC World actually covering it as well as other fighting game people playing it. Yeah, as far as other fighting games, I feel like that's Terry trailer, but yeah, that's about all that I saw.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the coverage, at least not a lot of it, but I did see most of the stuff. I did want to mention that Mortal Kombat 1 does run much better on the PC. I let the shaders build. I uninstalled it, reinstalled it, let the shaders build, and kind of let the system pick the settings, but I also turned a few things off, and I think I did like a few balancing things on my PC in regards to that game, but it can run it at max settings pretty easily now with no issues with like a bunch of like, because it was like very bad frame pacing. I don't know if I'm just utilizing VSync or not. I'm taking off VSync and using the variable refresh rate now or what, but it does seem to have cleared up my biggest issue, that it just didn't feel polished to the point where I could play it and not feel a frame drop or something like that, or a pause. It used to do that heavily. It changed. I recently downloaded it and was able to play a lot of matches, and I enjoyed it. So I thought it was and they also now allow for you to be 60 FPS continuously throughout the modes and the cutscenes and the menus for some reason used to cut to 30. So it's a new option on the menu where you can unlock your frame rate and everything still works. So there's a lot of things that they actually updated, and I just went back to it because I was reviewing the Takeda trailer and I was like, let me try it again. And safe to say that now it has had some improvements. I don't know if that's going to be across the board, but at least for me, my 7900 XTX AMD card, I have seen some significant improvements to the game. So I will be at least going through the story mode now. So just wanted to mention that for Mortal Kombat, at least got some good news on my end. Because I was going to write this game off forever, but luckily, I gave it another shot. Outside of that though, yeah, it was just pretty decent EVO. I had seen a lot of good announcements. Biggest one for me was obviously Terry coming to the Street Fighter 6. I think Street Fighter 6 is on a phenomenal run. I really like the crossover stuff. I really want to see another Street Fighter cross Tekken. I want to see another Capcom versus Marvel. I kind of want to see a lot of these crossover games make a comeback. So those types of things always get me excited because I just like paying homage to each other and really showcasing that everybody can coexist and have some fun. So, but Mortal Kombat has always been the one to do it all the most, with all of their bringing in Peacemaker and Jason and Freddy and all this other extra stuff. They always get some licensing that's pretty cool. I'm glad to see that the Capcoms and everything are out there and are starting to come together as well. So I want to see another Street Fighter cross Tekken for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else before we say our goodbyes?
No, we had a lot of good coverage this week. We'll be back in a couple of days or more. So
oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, all right then. I want to thank y'all for listening. If you got to this part, you're the real OG. I want to thank you as always, because I know it takes a lot to get through these types of podcasts, and your time is valuable just as much as everybody. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to us. But we'll be back next week with more topics, more news coverage, more things to say, and more updates. I'm pretty sure Jalen gonna still be playing basketball. I'm pretty sure Jalen probably gonna still be drinking on those sodas and barbecuing and whatever else he do. Josh gonna still be with his kids. He gonna still have his job. He gonna still be playing that Zenless song. But we gonna have both things to discuss. And I'm gonna still be playing Diablo. Let me throw myself in there too. But we gonna have more to discuss.
I'm done with Zenless. I'm going back to Warframe. Gotta get ready.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to talk about that. We'll talk about it next time. Soul Frame. I wanted to get your opinion on it, because they're gonna add in. I heard they was adding in Warframe romance and stuff, which is funny to me. But he said he was heavily influenced by Baldur's Gate. So, but we'll talk about it. I know they had a lot of coverage, so maybe we'll start the next part up with that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and listening. We will talk to you all next week. Peace.